was even told at university it's just a phase, and you'll grow out of it. So I was living with a woman. So I was sitting up the back thinking, wow, he's a very brave man, because I also knew that 97.3% of the people in the collective were very, very straight, And I was very uncomfortable within myself, and it's taken me all that time, because that was when I was about 26, and this is 40 years later. And it's a very surprising thing for me to be, bringing together this collection. I didn't say that in my introduction, because I've been solo most of my life, and I've been so-called gay, so-called straight, and had a period of formal celibacy as a monk, teaching meditation in my guru's ashrams for nearly a dozen years, So with the real me, please, if anyone finds me, would they please stand in horror? So I find it sort of rather confusing to be asked to do this. And I was also surprised as I tracked people down and coaxed people and cajoled people. I didn't threaten anybody. And the person who took the longest time to round up the collection was Michael Kirby. And I had to play all kinds of cards to get him to agree. And in fact, the book could have been out about 6 weeks earlier. But he's a very busy man. Every second day he's on an aeroplane. I never knew when I was going to get a reply to an email, because he was before the Sydney launch, he was in West Indies about 2 days before. He doesn't seem to ever suffer from jet lag. So there I was, rounding up this collection of people, and I was shocked when they came in that there were so many diverse points of view. But to me, that was a true reflection of the complexity of human affairs, I noticed that in 2008, this is a very recent iteration of the Pope's usual position, that Pope Benedict called for humanity to be protected from homosexuality, as the environment needs to be protected against, all the depredations and toxic emanations of our Western lifestyle. Is that Nathan? Yes. Welcome, Nathan. Here's another contributor, Nathan Metropolitan from South Yarra. In fact, I counted up in the list of contributors. There are more than a dozen people in the 40 people collected here who are from this community. And at one point I was really worried that there wouldn't be points of view from anywhere else except from Melbourne. So well done, Melbourne. So I was thinking, well, what's my position on this? And I didn't really have a position. But I was coming back from a conference in Chicago, and I stopped this was in 2008 when Barack Obama was elected, and I voted in both countries. And I just voted for Barack Obama. And soon I just voted for Kevin too. I don't know whether that was... None of us is perfect. So I stopped off to see these two old friends, because I used to live in LA for about 13 years, and they had moved down to Long Beach, where there's a large gay and lesbian community. And they had been together at that stage, in 2008, for 26 years. And they were dear friends of mine, so I went to stay with them in Long Beach, and as we were driving down from the airport, I noticed that, a bunch of helicopters circling around over Long Beach. And because I'd lived in LA, I knew what this was. It was one police chopper and about 5 or 6, badged differently from different TV networks, And I said, what's going on? Because what had happened during that same election with Barack Obama is the good citizens of California had written in a proposal, which became known as Proposition 8, to cancel the permission for gay people to marry and make it illegal again, because 6 months earlier that the Supreme Court of California, under the California state constitution, had declared unconstitutional to ban same-sex marriage. So Greg and George, and I've been to 2 different commitment ceremonies they've done. I've got memorial mugs and DVDs and all kinds of paraphernalia they've sent out. But they'd gone and got married, which was really wonderful. And they had their, certificate of marriage with the California state seal on it. And they were very pleased. And then during that election, when everybody came out to vote for Barack Obama in California, they also voted for Proposition 8. And suddenly Greg and George's marriage was upside down. And I thought, why should their relationship be a political football, And, I mean, any couple who's stuck it out that long, I don't know many straight couples who lasted that long, among my friends anyway. So I felt it was really a pity. So and what was happening in Long Beach that night was a rolling demonstration that had started in Christopher Street in New York. The next night it was in the Castro district of San Francisco. The next night it was in West Hollywood. And that night happened to be Long Beach. It was just a coincidence. So we parked the car at the residence and we walked straight up the road and found ourselves with about 400 or 500 other people milling around an intersection with the police threatening us all with arrest. In fact, they had a giant speaker on the back of the truck playing a tape loop saying, in the name of the people of California, we're ordering you to dismiss, or whatever the word was, or you will be arrested. But this demonstration had been going on by that stage about 6 hours, and we stayed there for another 2. And there was Greg and George, who, at their age, you know, they're younger than I am, but we were the oldest people there. And you could feel the energy among the younger crowd, Gays and lesbians who were there. Of course, you know, why not? So that kind of changed my attitude, because I was looking at Greg and George and just the dignity of them as 2 men who had been honest enough and open enough to be open about that relationship for 26 years, and they both work in very professional circumstances. And I thought this relationship deserves respect. And that's what started to change my mind about it, you know. Fancy creating a second-class status for people on the basis of whom they love and how they love. Because that, to me, was the essence of what held them together, you know. It wasn't really politics. Although being out was the most political thing they did in that whole time.